There we go. There we are. So I think that's everyone in. So, like I say, I will start the event today, and just to say good morning and thank you all for joining us. This is the first of our online business development webinars for some time. The last one we held was June, so great to see everyone today. And our topic today is why on-site translation for visitor experiences is good business. I'm Helen Henderson. I am the membership manager for ASVA. Hopefully, as I always say, hopefully I've met most of you in the past, or we've had some form of communication. But today I'm delighted to be joined by Ivan Toohey, the founder and the CEO of ASVA Members Great Visitor Experiences. And Ivan is delivering our event today. So Great Visitor Experiences are a tech company focusing on growing the visitor destination economy for experience-led businesses like heritage sites, visitor attractions and distilleries. They offer a range of award-winning products, including a multilingual visitor app, ticketing and a destination experience platform for DMOs. Today, Ivan will be drawing on his expertise to share with the group some insights enabling us to gain a greater understanding of the importance of on-site translation and the opportunities it offers to grow revenue and support your marketing efforts. Ivan will also provide details on the type of content that can be easily translated, as well as how visitor experiences can most effectively deliver a multilingual experience. So key learnings from our event today will be understanding how you can expand your reach to international visitors in new markets, enabling your customers to better understand exhibits, displays and key information, opportunities for additional revenue streams through merchandising and services, establishing a reputation for being visitor-friendly and accommodating, and adapting to new technologies and the opportunities they present to enhance the visitor experience. So, before I hand over to Ivan, just to let you know about timings, Ivan's presentation is going to last about 20 minutes, and there'll be time after that for questions. If you've got any questions at all, please do pop them into the chat function. And in terms of housekeeping, please keep your mics on mute unless you're asking a question at the end. And as always, we'll be recording this session so we can share it with members. I'll hand over now to Ivan. Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you, Helen. That's great. And good morning to everybody. So I'm just going to get myself set up here now. Just bear with me for a moment. So Helen, again, look, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here today. I really appreciate that all the ASVA members are giving up their time. As mentioned, our presentation today is around 20 minutes, and I would be delighted if you have any comments or questions. I'm happy to take them at the end. Based on our company's experience and knowledge, the topic that we want to cover today is why on-site translation is good business. So as Helen mentioned, we are a technology company, and our focus is really around the visitor destination economy, and we really work with experience-led businesses such as museums, heritage sites, visitor attractions, activity providers, and distilleries. We have many award-winning products, including our multilingual visitor app, ticketing, and a destination experience platform for DMOs. In essence, what we do is around transforming how visitor attractions and museums connect and communicate with in-destination visitors using cost-effective and multilingual technology to maximize reach, revenue, and enhance the overall customer experience. This is a recent picture of my family, my wife Davina, our eldest boy Grayson on the left, who is turning 8 this week, and our youngest son Conan, who is just 6. I have over 25 years experience in hospitality management, with 14 of those years as general manager of leading hotels in Ireland. Prior to setting up Great Visitor Experiences, I was general manager for a company called Shannon Heritage with over 1 million annual visitors. This company was the largest commercial visitor attraction operator in Ireland. I completed an MBA in 2018. I launched Great Visitor Experiences in January 2020, just before COVID hit our shores here in March 2020. And I'm currently halfway through my PhD, which is focusing on how experiences can collaborate with their visitors on creating better products and gaining a competitive advantage. So the reason that I'm here today is to share our knowledge on how multilingual content can add significant value to your experience. And we believe that the likes of collaboration, sharing your values, sharing your mission, and having multilingual content in your place of work is really valuable for your customers, and therefore will add a competitive advantage to your business. When we ask businesses about their challenges and the challenges that they faced, this is what they tell us. It can be very difficult to find a starting point. Many attractions have a large number of different nationalities coming through their doors, so they don't know what language to translate or how many they should do. Post-COVID, there's a lack of tour guides with international languages. This used to be a really valuable resource when communicating with those visitors. It can also be hard to maintain a common standard across your site. If you do invest in multilingual services, how do you promote this and improve it over time? It can take a lot of time to start planning your content, selecting a company, and then implement it on site. And yes, unfortunately, it takes financial resources, and this can add a burn to your operation. So lots of different challenges there for you, the business operator. The overarching market feedback is that by addressing multilingual challenges proactively, you can enhance your customer experience, reach a wider audience, and foster cross-cultural understanding through your translated content. And as an operator, who wouldn't want to try and tap into some of that? Right now, some of you will be using some of these tools to communicate with your visitors: an audio guide, a brochure, and a simple one-page sitemap with some of the key points of interest highlighted. While this is all a great start, there's so much more that you can do. So some of the types of content that can be translated for your site includes your ticketing information, the audio guide that we already mentioned, text panels, the interactive displays, the wayfinding, events and programs. And it's only when you start looking at your own business and looking at where the gaps are in terms of communicating with those international visitors with limited or no English, you realize that there's lots of areas within your site that if you had translated or had some other forms of communication, you may be able to keep those visitors engaged for longer. There are many reasons that we feel that you need translations, and the market research actually backs this up. It's about targeting your market audience by speaking to visitors in their own language. Keeping visitors engaged, that means they stay longer with you and they spend more money on site. You build a stronger reputation online, offline, on site. It really shows that your site is very accessible to your visitors. And at the end of the day, you can help to increase your market reach. This enables you to have more people coming through, and by default, have more revenue coming through as well. You can ensure accurate and clear communication to help eliminate misunderstandings and general confusion. You can demonstrate an exceptional customer service and your determination to enhance the visitor satisfaction. By having translation services, it really shows your professionalism to meeting visitor needs, building trust and credibility on and offline. You can foster better collaboration and teamwork by breaking down those language barriers among staff and visitors. It opens new doors to international markets, partnerships, and revenue streams. You can showcase how your experience embraces inclusivity and diversity, again, enhancing your brand perception and attracting a much wider audience. And based on our knowledge, translation services can really provide a competitive advantage, positioning your business as a customer-centric and adaptable, setting you apart from your competitors. In terms of marketing, there's some really good outcomes here as well in providing multilingual and translation services. You can expand your target market, reaching diverse visitors from different countries and cultural backgrounds. You can help create a really welcoming environment for non-native speakers, which can lead to increased customer loyalty and positive word-of-mouth recommendations. You can ensure that your visitors are fully engaged with your site, the signage and interactive exhibits that will lead to higher engagement levels and more memorable experiences. You can better tailor your marketing message to different cultures, which shows respect, builds trust, and enhances credibility among those international visitors, and in particular, those international tour groups. You can generate positive user-generated content, maybe even going viral on social media and creating free PR, and again, a really positive brand image. And while initial investment is required, on-site translation leads to increased visitor satisfaction, repeat visits, recommendations, and improved revenue. So overall, a really good, solid return on your investment. There are many reasons that visitor experiences are falling behind. Again, when we conduct focus groups or when we meet some of our business customers, we often hear these excuses. Either we have no time, it is too costly, and it's just simply not required. These are simply just excuses. And we believe that there is a market need to actually implement some of these multilingual areas for content, not just for your visitors, but it's just good business. So as we mentioned, you may have limited funding, limited staffing, and there might be a lack of technology know-how within the business. And this may hinder your ability to invest in and implement a solution for translating content. Some experiences may be reluctant to adapt new technologies or innovations and maintain a very traditional approach that neglects the importance of how customer habits are changing and customers are becoming more demanding. At the end of the day, translation of content may not be seen as a top priority compared to other pressing needs, such as preservation, new exhibits, or even general maintenance. Some may underestimate the potential benefits of translations and what it can offer to those international visitors and how you can really engage those visitors and keep them for longer on site. And some may lack the in-house language expertise or even struggle to find qualified translators specialized in the field of art and culture. There's lots of really good international research out there. And this states that customers really enjoy translated content because it greatly enhances their understanding and therefore their experience and their enjoyment of their day out. Translations offer customers the opportunity to really understand the exhibit's information, their descriptions, and those narratives. And this leads to a deeper understanding and appreciation of what you're trying to offer your visitors. Customers value accurate information that capture the culture nuances and context of the exhibits, creating a more immersive and authentic experience. Translations facilitate higher visitor engagement as customers can fully comprehend and engage with the content. You're trying to move from simply, that was a nice day out, to I really, really understood that experience. I really enjoyed it, and I want to go back and do more like that. By providing quality translation services, you're enhancing the experience's reputation internationally, attracting more visitors, not just to your site, but also to your area, and generating really positive word-of-mouth recommendations. And customers recognize the educational value of this content, as it enables them to learn about different cultures, histories, and arts from right around the world. There are many ways to curate your on-site customer journey. So you can translate your on-site signage, have audio tour guides, have language-specific events, have a multilingual visitor app, have multi-content available. So this means you may have audio, text, video, interactive screens, pictures. Pictures could be pictures of the times that passed, about what your site looked like when it was being built. So customers are really interested in what they can see beyond what's available to them. And obviously, having real people in place is just so valuable. So those international tour guides that know your site and they can speak directly to those international visitors. In essence, by implementing some of these strategies, visitor experiences can create an enriched on-site customer journey through translation, offering a more inclusive and immersive experience for visitors from diverse backgrounds, and this results in increased satisfaction, engagement, and positive word of mouth. So just to close our presentation today, I have 2 or 3 more slides, just simply about us. So as Helen mentioned, we are a technology company. We have a very narrow focus in terms of we only deal with visitor attractions, museums, and those experience operators. Our visitor app has won numerous awards, and part of that is that we help with the translation and signposting. We help with ticketing, customer insights, showcasing all the things to see and do on your attraction or museum, showcasing where to eat, what products you have for sale in your retail. So it's very much trying to provide an easy and effective solution to connect you and to communicate with all of your customers to tell that story. The key pillars that we focus on for your experience is around storytelling, communication, and translation of all that content. We've worked with many different types of customers, from heritage sites to castles to windmills to caves to gardens. So some of the maybe better known attractions that you may know are the likes of Kylemore Abbey, House of Waterford, that's the Waterford Crystal site, Killarney House and Gardens, the likes of Alloway Cave, Fine's Flying Boat Museum, and Wicklow Jail. So one of our customers, Wicklow Jail, initially one of their challenges was around the translation services. All of their content was in English. The majority of their tour guides were also only spoke English, and they were really trying to market their attraction to international visitors. In particular, they were really trying to market to tour groups. While we were conducting some market research with them and trying to understand what their requirements actually were, we also discovered that they had very little information on their customers, and they also found it quite difficult to cross-sell retail and other services that they actually had within their museum. Our solution for them was that we crafted their visitor journey and we translated their content into 5 key languages. So they really looked at those visitor numbers, who was coming to their attraction, and they started with 5 languages to really hone into those groups. So what they found also was that it was really good from a marketing perspective. They could now go to workshops and tour operator meetings and say, you're a German operator, we want more of your tour business because we've invested in having all our language available in German. And they've been getting quite positive feedback in terms of, from a business perspective, with those tour groups. We send an exit survey to all their visitors once they've left their business with 3 key questions. And again, I suppose they can build an understanding in terms of what their customers are saying, what the customers need from them. And we also enable push notifications to visitors to promote on-site key offers. So while initially the challenge was around those international visitors and the translation element, part of our product offering is that we can do so much more outside of just the simple translations. Emer herself there, the manager, said that the fact that they can offer a multi-translation tool, it really helps with them attracting new business. So my final slide today, and thank you for bearing with me, is around the key learnings for your experience. So based on the presentation today and based on what we understand from our market research, you can certainly expand your reach to international visitors and new markets by having multilingual content for your attraction or museum. You can certainly enable your customers to better understand exhibits, displays, and key information. You have opportunities for additional revenue streams through merchandise and services. And again, once customers understand what you're trying to communicate with them, they can buy more and understand what it is you're doing. You're certainly establishing a reputation for being super friendly and accommodating to those international visitors. And looking to new technologies can present many opportunities to enhance the visitor experience. So thank you for your time. I look forward to some of your questions. Thank you, Helen.
Apologies, I clicked on the wrong thing there. So thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you for that presentation, kind of outlining the opportunities that having that, really effective translation can offer in so many different ways. So welcome. So anyone joining us today, if you've got questions, pop them in. We can ask Ivan while we have him here. I know that's something that either our members will already be doing, or they might be thinking about how they can enhance what translation they might be able to offer. For those, and we know that as well, cost can be a bit of a consideration. So in terms of maybe some attractions that are looking to enhance what they have in place, is there any advice that you would give them? And, what's the best way of maybe starting the journey if they don't really have the translation in place that they might want to be able to offer?
Sure, Helen. I think a lot of times people really think that this can be a huge project, and yes, it can. So I think the first step I would say is just talk to a vendor, talk to a company, and just say, look, I'm thinking about offering some translations. We know that we get maybe a lot of French and German, Italian visitors. So can we plan this out, whether it could be a 4-month project and do everything together, or it could be a 10-month project. So again, I suppose about finding the right partner that can help you on those journeys. What we also find is that a lot of attraction museums put a lot of barriers up front. So when we meet people, they say to us, Ivan, our content isn't great. We're not really happy with putting it together. So you have to find a starting point. And some companies will say that, it has to be one project. So we'll charge you at the very beginning and it'll be a project right through for 4 months. Companies like ourselves, they will say, okay, let's make this small bite sizes. What do you need to do right now? What content do you want to transcribe? So we might say that you already have very good signage in place. You already have very good, maybe maps and some good content. Let's take some of the text and work on that. Let's take some of your pictures and work on that. So I suppose, first of all, what I would say is, look, just think about what you need. Think about what your customers need. Think about, then, I suppose, talking to a company and get an understanding, because you get a lot of free information from companies like ourselves. And I suppose they will help you share that knowledge, and then you can make an informed decision on where to start and where to go.
Thank you. And do you find that there's there are probably still kind of key languages that people are looking for translations to be translated in? Is that changing in any way?
Yeah, the key languages we find are around French, German, Dutch, Italian, and Portuguese. They're kind of the key 5 languages. Mandarin, in terms of a Chinese language, was very popular. That has kind of died down a small bit based on, I suppose, travel needs. One of the things that we have found, especially here in Ireland, is Ukraine language has been a huge, important language as well now, which wasn't there before. A lot of, I suppose, maybe the government sites here are, I suppose, they're free entry, and they want to be seen to really help and promote and integrate the local Ukrainians into the community. So they've invested in the Ukrainian language as well, because they don't have really good English. So again, I suppose it's about what markets you're currently attracting and what new markets that you're hoping to get into. I see Katie there has a question for us. Would you recommend using platforms so the ChatGPT as a translation source for easiness? Absolutely. So the likes of Microsoft Azure, the likes of Google Translate, they're all really good translation services. What I would say to you is, how are you, I suppose, giving this then to your customers? So are you just hoping maybe to take some text that you have on site, run it through, say, ChatGPT or Google Translate, and then just copy and paste that into an A4 sheet of paper? So I suppose, the question I'd ask in terms of, how do you envisage your customer reading this content? So some of the things that we do is that, we kind of put together a very nice narrative. We put together a really good story in a nice format in a visitor app. So in terms of, they can follow their customer journey, they understand the key stories around the site. Why was it here? What's the history? So what I would say is, it's a very good tool, absolutely. But think about your customer. How are you giving this information to those customers?
Yeah, that is, I know, and it's such a pertinent question. I think it's something we've touched on, with our members in terms of what the opportunities are that generative AI, chat GPT, that sort of thing can offer. And we know we're really just at the start of that journey, and whether, there is a place within, what we're talking about today in terms of the translations that we can offer. Certainly, I imagine it's got quite enormous scope. But what you're talking about there, Ivan, is just really making sure it's part of a curated visitor experience. You're kind of
Correct.
still thinking the whole kind of journey and the experience through.
And also what we find is that people don't really focus that much on the data input. So in terms of when you have the likes of a third party, say chat GPT, or you're really only relying in terms of what the information you're putting in. You don't get any usability in terms of how are people engaging with the content, what do they like about the content. You can't send any exit surveys, you can't push notifications for retail. Those profiles of visitors using the visitor app, maybe you don't have access to those profiles to add to your marketing campaign. So yes, I suppose as a singular tool, like maybe an audio guide is very, very good, but it's a very simple, dumb device in some ways, because you as a business can't extract anything out of it. You just keep putting stuff in, you can't get anything out. And I suppose that's what we would try and help with as well. There's more some translation services that just translate the content. It's about that narrative, the customer journey, and really having really good tools that you can help your business along the way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Sophie's added a little something in there to say we've added QR codes across the site linking to translated gallery guides, also highlighting the use of Google Translate using our free Wi-Fi for accessing content across the museum. Our issue has been trying to find out the demographics of visitors. Yeah, I can imagine then, so you can understand a little bit more about them to know what to provide for them. But that's really interesting, and there's definitely some kind of suggestions in there, Sophie, I think that other people might find useful, that they can take away and potentially implement. So guys, if you've got anything interesting like Sophie has there to share that other people might not be doing or they could benefit from, pop it in, because that would be really interesting for everyone else to see. Thank you.
And Sophie, it'd be really interesting from your side, I suppose, you've made the effort and well done, and it'd be great maybe at the end, so maybe once a week or once a fortnight, maybe having a quick customer survey at the end of the visitor journey, and just say, I noticed maybe you were using the QR codes, what did you enjoy about it? Did you find it was easy to get access to it? What do you think we need to change or improve on? And again, I suppose, what we find a lot of work we do, there's an awful lot of big focus on their arrival, because you're charging somebody, you're giving somebody maybe a map or an audio guide, big focus on their arrival, but there's less of a focus at the end of the journey, and that can be quite as important to get some feedback and moving people around as well. So well done, Sophie, and keep up the good work on that.
And thanks for sharing that, Sophie. Yeah, that's super helpful. Not sure how to conduct surveys in other languages, I guess.
Yeah. So you won't probably have that tool. So what you're doing at the moment is providing really good quality content on I suppose, those QR codes. So it's a first step, I would say. So now I suppose if you mentioned that, I suppose you now need to figure out how do we access this. So there may be a way through Google that you can actually get access to those who have assessed it, or maybe just an exit survey at the end. So I suppose that's why it's about making a start, maybe thinking it through in terms of what you want to get out of this. And that's why the likes of maybe somebody like ourselves or another company, is a full service provider that they can just provide those translations and also those push notifications and extract some of that data for your business as well.
Yeah, I guess that's always the challenge, isn't it? You're absolutely right. That's a kind of that's a full sort of service, and it's just identifying the budget and resource for it. Let's see, Victoria, thank you. Victoria, we use an online museum platform called Smartify that allows us to translate into 10 different languages. The next steps for us are to get audio guides to make it more inclusive, but we're looking for the best way to do this without handing out audio guides, as these feel a little dated. Yes.
Yeah. So again, a great company, Smartify. Do a lot of great work. Again, translation services is great. And again, what we find is that one of my slides around the communication piece, the audio guide, the map, and the brochure, again, they're all individual items. Something that we do and other companies do as well is that they have a multimedia outlet. So we can take audio, pictures, video, text, and even augmented reality and put it all into one visitor app for the customer. So you can do away with a lot of the audio guides, the video. What you still want is the content. So the content is yours that you can share on social media platforms, your website, and also with us on the likes of the visitor app. But you're losing the devices. So you're paying for one singular service as opposed to the audio guides, the cleaning, the hygiene, the maintenance, the electricity to charge them, and then the maps as well. So what I would say is that great to use in complex Smartify, but it's about now getting all your content onto one system so that you're not using 3 or 4 different systems and charging 3 or 4 different places as well.
But it sounds like you've got some great work happening there, Victoria. So yeah, like I say, thanks. And 10 different languages, which is amazing as well, and such a great service to be able to offer your visitors. I'm sure they really appreciate that. Yeah, so thank you. I thought I'm not sure if anyone else, it was super helpful to have that shared experience that people are working on and have implemented at their own attractions, because I think what we're saying here is people are able to do a little bit, maybe not quite as much as they want. It's an area that we're all looking to see, will generative AI offer us some additional opportunities? But it's really interesting to see what Ivan is doing in terms of looking at it as a whole experience, as a whole kind of streamlined experience. So it was useful to think about where there were other opportunities that maybe we're not capitalising on at the moment. But I think that may well be it, unless anyone has any other questions or any other points they want to share before we go. But I think we probably have covered quite a bit. Is there anything else, Ivan, that you wanted just to mention before we wrap up today?
What I would say is that, like when we talk to international visitors, some of them have very little English, some have great English. We also find a lot of businesses put a lot of focus on their arrival piece, and it kids out, well, look, we have your ticket price now, thank you very much. But we think, in terms of, keep people coming to a destination, keep people coming to an area. The more that people can say we're very focused on these international markets, the more business that would be generated for those areas as well. All these services cost time and effort and money. So what I would say is, use companies, use suppliers to, ask questions, say, look, this is what we're thinking, give us a proposal, how much will this cost, how will it work? I can only afford to spend X amount of money this year. Can I do more again next year and the year after? A lot of companies like us will grow with you. So it's not a one-stop shop. We will grow as you grow, and we will test and monitor your feedback and how you're getting on with your customers. So what I would say is, engage with companies, get an understanding of costs and what the work is involved, and just educate yourself in terms of what you need and what your business needs as well.
Lovely. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you. Yep. And nothing else has popped into the chat just now. So I think that's probably us. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your expertise with our audience today. And thank you to everybody for joining us. We have recorded it. I've recorded it. So we'll pop it into the members area or online members area if anyone wants to go back and watch anything. All of our other webinars are in there too. Lots of different topics, all attraction specific. So if you've never been into our online members area, I'll send out a link to how to access that. But if you haven't been in it before, well worth having a look around. There's lots and lots of very relevant content in there. I'm sure you'll find it useful. And with regard to future events, as Team ASVA, our main focus on the moment is our forthcoming conference. Hopefully you've all got this in your diaries. It's the 14th of November. We're holding it in Perth, at Perth Concert Hall. We're finalising, the theme this year is Cultural Connections, I should say, and we're just finalising the programme right now. It's going to be an informative day, lots of inspiring speakers, super networking with industry colleagues. We're aiming to open bookings next week, and we very much hope that we will see all of you there. So like I say, hopefully you've got that date in your diary. And all that remains now to say is thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you at an event in the future. Thank you. Bye now.